And so a very warm welcome, dear teacher Pacey. Thank you for making time.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation.
Oh, yes. You're so welcome. You've been on my list for a long time, but I thought it would be very late for you. But,
no problem.
Thank you. And then I will just read a introduction. Actually, August is an auspicious month for you, Pacey, because you started practicing QiGong 10 years ago.
Right.
It marks your anniversary. So you started in August of 2008. In 2012, Pacey Wright, I was trained by my mentor, Mr. Oe Keen Hin, to be a therapist, to perceive others' chi condition. 2013, I was invited to the Czech Republic to conduct classes and perform personal healing sessions. Then 2 years later, 2015, together with Mr. Oe Keen Hin, you co-founded Serenity Therapy and Health Center in Penang, Malaysia. A beautiful city, coastal city, right? And great food.
Yes.
The mission of the center is to become a platform to train many more therapists in a professional manner. We are also promoting information therapy to children who need help to further improve social interaction, communication, learning ability, and bad temperament. Yeah, eye therapy, I think, is just amazing. I mean, my daughter has been in your eye therapy for the past 2 years, and just amazing. And then Teacher Pacey is traveling to Europe next month in September, giving a series of workshops in the Netherlands, September 22nd and 23rd. Then she travels to Italy, to Rome, 27th and 30th of September. And then the third and final workshop will be in Milan from 4th to 7th of October. So excellent. So good to see you, Teacher Pacey. And if you like, you can do a share screen and start your presentation.
Sure. Nice to meet everyone here. And this is my first time. Let me try to pull out my screen. Oops. Can you see now, Amir?
Yes, very well. Very good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hope everyone see the screen clearly.
Yes.
Now, today what I'm sharing is one of the topic of interest by Amir. Requested me to really present an introduction of ESP. Now, throughout the years, since we set up Serenity Therapy and Health Center, we have been focused on to the foundation of healthy body and mind. Now, this is the first time I'm actually focused on to this topic, the extrasensory perception, and it is part of the extraordinary capability. All right, and I will explain why I focus onto this topic this year. So besides talking about the ESP, before we go into much detail, now let you think about all these questions. The first one is some of the myths over here where people they are so curious about what it is ESP about, right? And then their thinking is that the higher the ESP, the sensitivity, the higher the level of my practice. Do you think it's right or wrong? Yes or no? Now, I will only gain the ESP after 5 to 10 years of practice. Yes or no? Now, once I gain ESP, I can solve many problems. Now, this is one of the dream of every one of us. Whenever you have ESP, I can you know, I can do this, I can do that, which is extraordinary. Do you want this? Now, the main objective of learning QiGong is to gain, especially 智能 QiGong. We say that as long as you have a good level of lift qi up, and you'll be able to regulate qi good enough to the membranous tissue, you'll be able to gain extraordinary capability, especially ESP. So is this the main objective of our learning and practice? Yes or no? ESP is a gift. Now, from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you just put one answer, yes or no. Try it out. A check before we go ahead. Where can I see the check?
We have one brave person who said no so far. Oh, okay, some more answers. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you have the same answer for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Simple question.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Who's that? Enoch.
So we have no, yes, no, no.
3 yes. Number 2, yes. No. Number 3, yes.
Mm-hmm.
The rest, no. All right. Any more? Now, to answer this, it depends. And this is purely my experience to share with you. 5 years. Why? Now, I've been practicing since at the age of 35. That was 10 years ago. And during then, I was very weak, pretty weak, because I just undergone the surgery to remove the fibroids from the uterus, right? Now, during that time, I was at a very weak level. So I started practice for 3 months. And during that time, we were actually practice lift you up. We have body mind form. We have 3 centers merge, L setting during that. I wasn't know that the qi sensation that I perceive can be considered as sensitive. So 1 month later, after I practiced lift qi up, I could feel the whole body glow up. So I didn't know that is actually part of the sensitivity, what we call ESP. So 5 to 10 years, nah, you can be better than that, all right? Now, once I gain ESP, I can solve many problems. Not true. It depends, all right? Now, why I say so, because ESP, we have to understand what is ESP. What is the meaning about extrasensory? Why we say when we gain the ESP, it is not necessary we solve many problems, all right? Now, the main objective of learning 智能 QiGong, of course, it is not only to gain extraordinary capability. It is part of it. But the main thing, it is for the overall health of our physical body, as well as the health of our mind, all right? Now, ESP is a gift. To me, it is not. Why it is not? I'll explain later why it is not. To a certain time, ESP to me, it is a burden. And some of the friends, when you are very sensitive, you will also agree with me that sometimes ESP is a burden, right? If we did not manage well. Now, so it explains that it is not necessary when the higher the ESP, the sensitivity that we have, it is the higher level of our practice. Not necessary, right? Then what is important? Dr. Pang mentioned this, and I saw this in a very small sentence in Chinese, and he said that easy without stability of the mind is a risk. Is a risk. Now, before that, I didn't realize that Dr. Pang mentioned about this until recently. I read again the book, and I realized that yes, this is true. Why? Now I mentioned ESP, it is not a gift. Last year I experienced this kind of situation whereby I practiced a lot, and then eventually the ESP get enhanced, and I can perceive a lot more information that I could imagine. Just imagine that one of the cases is that, okay, I talk to you, Amir talk to me. And then Amir lovely and said, hi, Pacey, you are good. But I can perceive his information that the thought is that this Pacey is very lousy. No good at all, you know. But he's still smiling at me and say, Pacey, you know, I like you so much. But the other way around, I perceive another thought is that, nah, you're not so good. Too young, you know. Look young. And who are you? Nobody knows you, you know. So ESP become a confusion part of it when it blend, when the information you receive blend with your bias knowledge. So what happened to you? You will go insane because all this information, it is like a lot of information loaded into a Pentium 3 computer. When you're not ready and your computer speed is as low, and you have to process a lot of application and a lot of information, and end up it shut down. And that was my experience. And I feel some of us, some of our friends, not me, I was trained. Some of our friends, they born with ESP. Okay, more sensitive than us, right? Some of our friends train up and their sensitivity is getting better and you receive a lot more information. But if we did not study ESP and the impact, the application of it, it is a risk because we need not know that it will cause, all this information will cause and stimuli to our emotion. And this is very important, all right? And that's why this year I bring this topic to Europe because I knew some of the friends there, and some of them, they are very sensitive, right? And I do study a little bit more about EC and also ESP after my experience, because I feel that if you study more, you will be able to master the knowledge. If you study more, then some of this negative information, you will have to really study it and make it or harmonize with it and manage the knowledge or the information that you receive to become your easy knowledge, right? So it is an experience where during the beginning stage, you get panic. And then later you realize that, oh, you have to really accept it. And then you study more about it and how to manage it. It is really important, right? Now I'm going to share more about the information. One more thing. ESP, it is very important because throughout our practice, we are going to talk a lot more about ESP. and we'll perceive that ESP is a tool. It's a tool throughout our 智能 QiGong practice or throughout our inward focusing practice. Right? Now, what is QiGong about? QiGong, of course, it is about Qi, right? Now, what is QiGong about? It is all about self-management. Now, if Amir has used to be a manager, he said, this is so troublesome. Mr. Wei Jianqin always asks me to spend around 1 hour to practice 3 sentences merge. You have to stand at least 30 minutes, and then you carry on with your arm sitting, every day. Do not miss, right? No. It's troublesome. So I'm a manager. I hire a staff. Okay, I get one staff, pay him out. Okay, now I'll teach you. This is the video for 3 sentence merge, the video for arm sitting. Can you help me to practice? And 3 months later, you evaluate again. Your staff is much healthier than yourself. Why? Because QiGong, it is the practice, inward focusing onto ourselves. So it is a self-management. What are the topics of this self-management? What are the self-management about? Now, to see this. Now, when we talk about 智能 QiGong, Dr. Pang always mentioned about the holistic view or in terms of the healthy body and mind. So what are the holistic view of body and mind, right? When we talk about self-management, it is pretty simple and it is a systematic learning. There are already theories being recorded into books by Dr. Pang. There are plenty of techniques for us to practice, right? Now, the aspects of the self-management from the very foundation, it is about the healthy physical body, all right? This is a very foundation part of it. And then we talk about the emotions part of it, the management of the emotions, okay? So the management of the emotions, it is the aspect of 道德, where you deal with the society, right? So when you deal with the societies where the expectation is not meeting your requirement, so you get angry, frustration, a lot of stress. That is the management of emotions. That is also part of our self-management. Now, understand the foundation of healthy mind. It is another part. But this it is together, or it has to be do it in a simultaneous way when you have a foundation of healthy physical body, right? We'll have a very balanced emotions. 综合, we say 综合, balanced emotions, or at the middle. Only then you'll be able to know that whether you have a clarity of the mind. Okay? Now, all of these are the requirements. You know that you have to be healthy, have a healthy body. You know that you need to be balanced, calm, relaxed, right? You know you have to be in a clear mind, focus. Everything is in a good shape. But there are many stages into the healthy physical body. How healthy means that healthy. How good is your physical body means good physical body, you know. How do you measure it? No. Only when you develop a certain level of ESP, you'll be able to evaluate, right? So ESP, the extrasensory perception, become a very important tool for you to measure and evaluate the healthy physical body, the emotions, the state of your emotions, and your healthy mind, right? So ESP is a tool throughout your practice. Once you'll be able to master the ESP and you'll be able to apply it, then you'll progress very well, yeah, in a very short term, compared to a person without doing or without knowing or without applying ESP, right? And then we talk about, when you really master all this, then we talk about extraordinary capability of the body and mind, and for the eventually ultimate goal of freedom of body and mind, right? So it is, to me, it is a systematic learning, yeah, and it has been simplified. So if you'll be able to master this, for us to train up a pretty, or what should I say, for us to train up a reasonable level of therapies, it needs about 2 to 3 years, yeah, less than 5 years, right? If they are working onto this, okay, work to the foundation, the emotion and application of ESP. And this is how important ESP is. Okay, now we talk a lot about ESP. What is the ordinary person or people they have? In fact, before we practice QiGong, what we have in our mind, the ordinary knowledge came from the ordinary perception. Ordinary perception by receiving or perceiving the information from ordinary senses. So what are the ordinary senses? See, the eyes, the nose, okay, where you smell, the tongue or the mouth, where you eat food and you taste it, right? The hearing, right? And touch, finger touch, or the body, okay? Now, all this information, it will be channeled through the signal and processed by the mind, right? Since very, very young, when we were baby, our mother or our parents, they have already taught us, naturally taught, you have to touch this, you know? The milk, okay, this is the taste, it smells like this, all right? Hearing, you play around with the toys, you know, to check whether your hearing is good. And all this become a good stimulation to build up all these ordinary senses, right? So this makes sense. But one thing is that the information, it is outward focusing. There must be a stimuli. You must be something to eat so that you could taste, right? You must have something physical or something that you can touch, right? Then you can feel the difference. So it is more outward focusing. So the information, when it is transmitted to our mind, it becomes fraction. It is no longer holistic, right? Because you have to channel into all these organs, converted into the signal. Some of it is electrical signals sent to the mind. So it has become a lot more, okay, filtered information. Now, ESP is different. When we practice inward focusing, we're actually a lot more focused inward without much stimuli from the outside, right? When you do the 3 senses merge, you actually say, hearing inside, seeing inside, feel inside, and relax, right? So ESP, it is part of extraordinary capability, where extraordinary capability is the largest group, and ESP is a subdivision out of it. ESP, extrasensory perception, meaning you perceive and you receive the information, all right? And it is the how would I say, it is the information that you can receive direct into the mind without channeling by the ordinary senses. Extraordinary capability, it also includes how you store the information that directly into the mind, how you transmit information or your intention directly out from the mind. All right, so that is extraordinary capability. Right, so we are not talking about extraordinary capability yet. We are talking about the extrasensory perception. So extrasensory perception, it is the perceptual thinking, how you perceive. So when we perform any practices, we will ask our students to perceive themselves, how you perceive themselves, whether you are more relaxed, whether your posture is correct. Then you have to perceive whether your posture is correct, whether the qi flow, it is correct, right? And this is how we train the therapists. Now, ESP, when you look at YouTube, you Google search, and you'll find that some of these, they will have extraordinary sensory perception where they will have remote viewing, see-through, right? Now, we have one student came to our M1 course in our center in Penang. And then after the 10 days course, went back. And one day, he saw his friends with a glow of qi surrounding him, right? The friend. So it is with a black color. He will get shocked and panic attack after that because he was so shocked. It is in black color. So he asked us what happened to him, what should I do, I saw this and, oh gosh, I don't want to see this. Can I, I don't want to see this qi for some other people. How should I stop it? No, we can't stop it. Once ESP developed, you also have to develop a kind of mentality, stability in order to ignore the information if you can't do anything. So this is another trick that we have to do it, right? Now this is one of it. And the other case is that it is the same person and he practice. Lachi probably, Lachi. I see the bone. Saw the bone. So this is see-through, right? You get shocked again. Could not sleep for whole night and ask us, what should I do? Nothing wrong with it. So you have to become whatever, whenever you see anything, see-through. Now, precognition, it is one of the extrasensory perception. Some of it, they are actually born with it, right? We have also a friend have this ability, and she would normally she perceives the information during nighttime when she sleeps, and then she can dream of the date of a person. Let's say I dream of a date of a great grandfather, right? And then the great grandfather, a few days later, and on that date, she realized that the person passed away exactly on the date she dreamed of. Again, she got panicky, and she said, I don't want this kind of ability where you sleep and you dream, and all of a sudden you realize that every time you dream about a date, the person is going to pass away. I can't take it, right? I can't take it. What should I do? Many with the ESP, or some of them, they born with this. Most of us born with it, they will receive negative information more than positive information, right? Like for myself, once I bought iPod, and downloaded with all Dr. Pang's lectures, right? 300 hours into iPod so that I can bring everywhere to listen. Now, one day, that was about 2 months after I purchased the iPod. I appreciate it so much. Okay, it's not cheap here. It's pretty expensive here. So one day, I perceived some information which is no good because I feel the iPod will be missing in another 3 or 4 days. That is really make me worried so much for 3 to 4 days. So what I did was that I know that, okay, probably I was a careless person. So I put it into a pouch, iPod pouch, and then zip it, and then put it into my bag, zip it. So every time I carry it to shopping mall or whenever I was out, then I make sure I touch, open the zip, touch. Oh, my iPod is there. Touch again, iPod is there, right? Now, 4 days later, I could not find my iPod. I don't know why. And since then, it was missing. And I still could not find the reason why it was missing, right? So stay calm, whatever information that it come by. Telepathy it is one of the ability. It is also perceiving the information, where this information is about thoughts, the other person's thoughts, as I explained just now. So he did not speak it out. He did not spell out, right? But you could perceive his thought. The common one is that we normally you have a thought that somebody is going to call me, and then eventually when you pick up the phone, it is you. I know I'm expecting your call. Now this is common, all right? Telepathy. Now what happened to all this? Remote viewing, like see-through, precognition, telepathy. What it is the similar aspect that you can see from here? What it is the thing that the ability that we perceive here? What is the nature of information we perceive into our mind? In fact, it is all out of control. All right, it is out of control, meaning sometimes you will perceive it and you don't know why, then you perceive it. All right, sometimes you perceive the thoughts and then that person agreed with it, that you perceive the same thoughts, but you are not able to control the ability to use it. All right. Now, what we really care about, it is the extrasensory perception, where we are be able to use our conscious mind to control that, or to have a repetition of applying ESP. That is to perceive qi condition. Whose qi condition? Okay, now the first thing we always say that 智能 QiGong practitioner, it is very selfish. So what we want to use this extrasensory perception, it is to perceive our own qi condition. All right. Then eventually, when you are mastering the ability, then you'll be able to perceive others' qi condition. Now, this ability, it is within our control. It is able to be trained. All right, it is able to be trained. So, what are the practices that you'll be able to train up of this extrasensory perception? The most fundamental is it is good enough lift qi up, where you regulate qi into our membranous tissue. And second one, it is a certain exercise that you do to regulate qi direct into your membranous tissue, right? Now, questions are being posted to Dr. Pang. So, why I have all these practices being done daily, 2 hours, 4 hours, but I still could not perceive, right? Now, in this case, then Dr. Pang said, you have to check or inspect yourself whether you have a clear mind sometimes your mind are too congested with too much of stress, worried, work, and everything outside. So the information coming in into your mind, but you're not paying attention onto it. So you're not able to internalize the information. So it's just like ignore, right? So Dr. Pan said, clear your mind first. Second thing is that, okay, you have stable mind, good emotion, probably, and then you're still not able to perceive the information. Why? Right? And Dr. Pang said, now, then you have to evaluate whether your internal chi, it is good enough. If your internal chi, it is not good enough, then it is not able to supply enough chi into your mind to process the information. So it is as easy as that we go back to the foundation, right? The foundation work of it, the physical body and also the mind. So ESP in self-healing, what is the most important part in applying ESP in self-healing is that we use it to evaluate our condition. How do you evaluate our condition? Since this is out of time, so in the workshop, we actually let you experience how you use the extrasensory perception to evaluate, to compare your condition before and after, right? So that you're familiar with the better condition, the better physical body, the better emotion, and also a clearer mind, right? It is through the experience that one will be master the ESP better and better. The more that you use it, the more it is much friendlier to you, right? The more you use it, the more you will be incorporated this ability into your daily life, right? Now, I have a friend told me the other day, she worked in a factory. Now, nowadays, they work into a factory, it is not easy because it is quite competitive. And the span of the NPI project, meaning the products life cycle, it is getting shorter and shorter because they want to run out into the market as soon as possible. So there are plenty of pressure in the factory. So because of this, there are lots of argument, scolding, blaming among the colleagues. Now she had this incident. She quarreled with the engineer. She was a planner. She quarreled with the engineer and then feel that very angry, extremely angry. Now, one thing good is that she still knows that she is angry. Some people, when they scolded, not aware that they are angry. So angry, and then they say, "Hey, come. Since you have a break, there is a health screening in the hall. Why don't we go there and do a health screening?" Then she said, because she practiced QiGong before, it must be very bad. I just quarrel, and then I think my blood pressure should be shooting up. Okay, I slowly walk there. So she spent about 5 to 10 minutes walk to the hall. Okay, at the booth, she asked the nurse to check the blood pressure. Okay, check. 150. Okay, now that your blood pressure is very high, 150. No, I think, the nurse said, I think I should give you some medication to control now. It is very risky. And then the person said, my friend said, wait, because I just quarreled. So you wait. Okay, give me another 3 minutes and we measure again. Okay, measure. 3 minutes later, measure 130. Okay, no medication needed. Now, what I mean is that ordinary people, they will have to, depends on the device, to check your blood pressure, that this is extremely angry, right? You have to do something. Now, ordinary people, they will try to find a solution where the medication can control. In QiGong, in fact, before we go out to that extent where the qi or the emotion has been erupted, ESP, extrasensory perception, will help us to apply that before you go out, before you scold, and you have to tame your emotion. All right, this is another stage of how we manage the emotion. All right, and to another higher level or a next step is that whenever you have a thought, this guy engineer is stupid. No, whenever you have a thought, the qi rushing up, then you'll be able to know already. That is also another level of how we applying ESP. All right, it is one stage at a time. The more that you are familiar with ESP, the more that you will be able to use it for ourselves, to manage ourselves. We talked about self-management. So the more that you are using ESP, the more you'll be managed well of ourselves for the vitality and health of ourselves, right? Similar to the physical body, right? Now, in Serenity Holistic, how much time I have? Now, in Serenity Holistic Therapy, what we use, it is also extrasensory perception first before we are doing anything else, like applying any techniques or doing the external healing. We are actually using ESP to scan or to perceive the information of the patients, to find the root of the symptoms or the problem, the concern. Like let's say Amir has headache these 2 days. I scan him. Not headache. It's actually from a neck problem. You have a compression here. So not now. So in fact, for individual session, we are doing this kind of evaluation, and it is much more effective if I'm applying a standard procedure. Now, standard procedure is like you go to massage. Oh, the massage point here, and then the shoulder, and then the back, right? And then the leg. This is a standard procedure. But in terms of therapeutic treatment, we say, in terms of therapy, we want to be specific, because nowadays we are out of time. Everyone out of time. You don't have 1 hour to do the standard massage and everything. So we want to be specific, right? And some of us at this age, it is not only one concern. There might be plenty of concerns, right? For example, some of the one that they have knee pain. In fact, it is not the knee problem only. So it is some other problems. So we have to fix one by one, right? And then only once we found the root, then we apply the healing techniques. And ESP also help us as a therapist to perceive whether our techniques are good for the client. Meaning, after a massage, for Amir, release the point here. And then I ask him whether you feel comfortable, you feel relaxed. Relax now. Then how should I know that physically he is okay? Meaning I have to use ESP to scan our method, right? So we call this Serenity Holistic Therapy, right? Not every therapist there of other schools, they are using this, right? So it's much of our experience. Now there are still other application onto ESP that we can use. but I'm not cover everything here, right? They're fight or flight mode, especially when you go to a country or an area. Before your flight, you could perceive some information, something not good is happening to the country, and you have an urge to cancel your flight. This is one of the ESP, right? Most of the time, you have to believe it, right? So fight or flight mode, it is very important to save our life. That is for us to be aware when it is in a very huge environment, all right, where you cannot control the information or you are not able to change the environment or atmosphere. Now, ESP can apply into the clinical study, productivity in agriculture, evaluation of others' condition, like what we did on therapies. There's also another benefit where it will enhance your skills in your field of expertise, right? Like Amir is very well in programming. So once you master ESP, so your programming will have less bugs, and the programming features more advanced and creative, right? So ESP can be used in or beneficial in many things if we master this ability. Now, in Dr. Pang's words, this is very important because we talk about ESP a lot, and then many might thought that, so my next target, it is to have the ability of extrasensory perception. No. Dr. Pang said, okay, the first priority for us to focus on, it is the recovery from illness for ourselves. Now, in Zhen and QiGong, the great part of it, it is they respect us as a human being, that you have to focus on your vitality, okay, to go alive first, right? So recovery from illness is the first priority. The second one is to get healthier than average, right? Before you become a therapist, we want you to be healthier than average, at least trying to loosen the lumbar 1 to 3, right? Develop extraordinary capability to serve the society. Now, this is a very good laid of the requirement by Dr. Pang, where it becomes a guideline for me as well to go through this one, right? It is not important for us to use our extraordinary capability to serve the society when I feel I was so weak, right? So even now, with my center on, we are actually working less than 15 hours a week, right? Most of the time, we have to focus onto our health. We have to focus onto our practice. We have to gain a lot more knowledge. We do a lot of studies, right? How to master some of the techniques in order to improve our therapeutic techniques. How to use some of the herbs, food grade herbs, to help improve the qi flow within a person, right? So all these require a lot and plenty of time to do the research. And since we have that ability to perceive some of the information, so some of the herbs we actually try it out ourselves to see how the qi goes, whether it's go up, down, how you feel, whether it's good, So all this, it is really grateful that we have that ability to test it out. So we have a lot of feedback also of the treatment that we have given to some of our clients. The most typical case, it is a lady with gastric problem. That was 2 years ago, I think, or last year. This lady walked into our office. She could not walk straight, and she got too panicky because stranger, so she could not see direct on you, so no eye contact. She feel timid, so whenever she sit, she have to feel safe, When I talk to her, she said she really lost hope onto herself that she will recover to a normal shape. She had gastric, very bad gastric problem, lumbar pain. She could not sit straight, always like that, right? She could not walk straight, and it has been a year. She could not work because she could not face any stranger, right? She has been most of the time lying on the bed, right? And she is only at her early 40s years old, pretty young. Now, what we did is that applying our techniques to first find out the root. Now, it's pretty simple. She has been seeing a lot of doctors, scanning, scoping, medication, hospitalized, only no surgery because the doctor could not find the root where to cut. And TCM, acupuncture, massage, all tried out. 1 year, no improvement, and getting into panicky because everyone said, oh, this is a chronic illness, very difficult to cure, right? So it is very deep into the mind. The only thing we found, it is very simple. Kidney qi is low. So we asked her some practice to get the internal qi to be stronger. So 2 weeks later, able to walk straight, sit still. And then she said, less back pain. Now another 2 weeks, 4 weeks later, oh, you know what? I got one good news for you. I started to work, 4 weeks. I said, oh, you must be very hard working. She said, yeah. Whatever you told me to do, I do double, right? You don't ask me to do 30 minutes, I do 1 hour, right? 3 times a day, I do six times a day since I can work, right? So 4 weeks later, become a normal person, able to do whatever stuff that a normal person can do, eat whatever he can eat, right? She can eat, right? So that is the powerful stuff that we can see if you really look into the concern and be specific, have a practice specific to handle the problem. Yeah, within a short period of time, and the person willing to put in the effort within a short period of time, then able to recover, right? And especially boy, it is also the same case where this boy have ability to learn. The school teachers ask the boy, you have to leave. Yeah, I think you are a special child. You could not listen, and in the classroom you make noise, tons of noise. You will shout, you didn't listen to the teachers, you didn't do the homework. I think we gave up, right? For the first year, we can tolerate, but after that, no more. Okay, get the parents in. Can you find another special school for your boy? It is not good for the standard schooling. Standard syllabus, no good. All right. Now, accidentally, this is one of my friend's child, and accidentally I saw the photo of it, and then I said, no, something not right. It is something disturbing in the brain, right? So we did some of the massage to clear one of the lump near to the neck, right? So 2 months later, he went back to the same school. The mother went to the principal and told the principal that there's some improvement. I think you should give him a chance. So 2 months later, the whole school teachers came and interviewed the child. What did you do? Right? Now that you can listen and you help the teachers to do their work, and you help the friends, you can communicate, and you sit still in the class. What happened to you? And you say, oh, simple, I got injury here. Just clear the injury, then okay already. I don't need any medication also. Yeah, that fixed the problem, 2 months. Now, there are also various cases with physical pain. We have also information therapy, as what Amil mentioned. for the autistic, ADHD children, those with learning disability, temperament, bad temperament where the child cannot control themselves and they get angry easily. And the anger, it is erupted suddenly. That means that they are not able to control themselves. There was one child at 9 years old, he told the mother, I know I am very angry at that time, but my mind could not control my body. My body want to shout, but my mind said no, but I cannot control. Yeah. So this is the case of the children, right? Some of it is mostly physiological perspective. Lack of focus is also one of it. Now, recently we tried out a few cases on the information therapy for depressive. Yeah, we found it quite promising, right? So if we will be able to help those with depression, then it will be a good start, right? There is also a hope. In the Western medication, they say that this chronic kidney disease, for whatever treatment they have, the patients will only slow down the progress of the kidney damage, right? Slow down, meaning whatever treatment that you have, the medication or the dialysis is actually to slowing down the progress, right? But this man, he was at 60 years old, I think, 60 something years old. He came to our courses. And then during that time, I told him, if you never practice or spend 1 or 2 hours a day, I think you have to let go your kidneys. Why don't you go and do for the transplant? So you give up your kidneys or you want to forego 2 hours a day in order to practice. Then he said, okay, I promise you. Now, after this course, I will spend and I will inform my wife to watch me out to ensure I am practicing 2 hours a day. Make sure. I say, okay, can you give me your wife number so that I remind your wife as well? And then he said, okay, never mind, I give you, right? So he promised and he kept his promise, working out 1 to 2 hours a day, right, on the exercises. So this is the report after that, and he promised to publish the report to me after a certain period of time. So the creatinine level reduced from 194 to 171. And to the doctor, this is impossible because to them, it is non-reversible, right? Meaning your kidney function cannot be good, right? But do bear in mind that if you really have to spend time and put in the effort to practice, there is hope, right? In Zhineng Qigong, there is hope, right? Nothing it is onto a chronic disease that we are not able to recover, okay? Now, this has been declared by Amir, our event in Europe, all right? So we'll go to Holland, 2 days workshop, and 4 days in Rome, and another 4 days in Milan. So Milan will be the last stop, right? We'll also share the application of ESP, how you could experience by applying extrasensory perception into progressing your Zhineng Qigong practice, right? And how you can manage your emotion. That is the most important part. Okay, so what we have covered in the workshop are all this. Okay. Now, any questions from you? I finished my sharing.
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Really good teaching and presentation. Excellent. If you can, yeah, just stop the sharing.
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, we can see everyone. So we will move on to our Q&A. If anyone has questions, you can put them in chat or you can open your mic. Casey, I have an opening question. I think in one of your courses, M1, M2, it was mentioned that once ESP starts, it's, hi Irma, you're sharing
Hi, Emma.
you're sharing your desktop. Let's see. Okay, good. Good to see you, Irma. So I learned in one of your classes that once the ESP starts, it's like a background process, and it makes a debit of your internal chi that it utilizes. So if you are in poor health, that it can lead to some danger. And so can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah. One of our friend from China also asked me the same question. He said one of the masters told her that, oh, you should not use ESP or extraordinary capability, you know. You will damage yourself and you will receive the bad chi from some others, you know. Don't do it. And it is also one of my experience when I first started to learn about scanning others' chi condition. I read one of the reminder from Dr. Pang is that once you learn this, try to keep it to yourself first. But it is not about whether you perceive or you are using your internal chi, because 智能 QiGong, it is open form. We're using the chi from the universe, all right? It is an open form. We are not using our internal chi. Even today, I pass chi to you. I did not use my own chi. So it will not directly impact or damage our internal chi. But it is, as I told just now, it is the information that we receive that it had a confusion into your own reference system where you have emotion that will damage our chi. Yeah, because we do not have a clear mind to manage it, right? So in order for us to apply the application of ESP, we need to have a good background. That is, we have to regulate our emotion. We need to have a clear mind so that whatever you perceive, okay, whatever that we perceive, we stay calm and to handle it, right? Whatever come may, it doesn't matter. Don't involve your own personal information or emotion with it, right? So this is very important. So it is a level. So if you feel that you have this extrasensory perception, but you're not ready for it, so at that moment, try not to use it so much, right?
Yes, and then we have some Qigong teachers, and they run summer camps for children in China and other countries. Many examples, children are blindfolded and they're able to read playing cards like it's Seven of Diamond, or blindfolded, they're able to read text. And then these teachers say that these are natural abilities that children have, and then by age 11, they diminish, they subside. Teacher Pacey, so through practice, are we redeveloping these abilities? Do kids, is it through the frames of reference I read that they block these abilities?
You mean to train the children to have this ability?
Yeah, I mean then I guess my question is, what happens later in age? Like I'm 56, right? So did I have those abilities at one time, and through all my strenuous learning, so through practice, would I redevelop them?
Yes. Now, if you have a kid now or a baby now, you'll be able to train him to gain the ESP if you already master ESP.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, one sentence, a very good sentence we read again the book, and Dr. Pang mentioned, remember when you cultivate the ESP, remember also to cultivate the Dao, okay,
Yes.
of the children. Otherwise, they will become very biased, right? Now, for us, we practice, I have practiced 35 years old, right? Now, since young, we actually have that ability, because this ability, it is for everyone. It is a natural ability. As long as you are a human being, you have a conscious mind. But our ability did not be trained. Like our senses, ordinary senses, it has to be trained.
Yes.
You will feed with different types of food, soft food, then later a little bit harder food, that you experience it. But when we are young, we have this ESP or EC knowledge or ability. But none of our environment, it is good for it. Nobody trained us. The parents say, hey, no. When you see tea, that's no good.
Yes.
Don't talk about that. All right? People will talk that you are crazy. Right? And then when you move things, like you did not use your hand to get it, and then you try to move the things, and then your parent will scold you. Don't do this, all these crazy things. So it gets blocked.
Yes.
Right?
We have many questions from friends. Dennis has a question. Can you tell something more about ESP in relation to what you said on one of your slides, freedom from body and mind?
Yeah. Now, I have mentioned that we also have stages in the extrasensory perception. During the beginning stage, we could feel that something is rough, right? The information is rough. Something like it is about this and suspicious about that and probably not true. And then eventually when you apply it, then slowly you'll be able to perceive it, right? Now, I mentioned that ESP, it is a tool for us to progress from one level to another, right? Towards the module 2 of our course, we are actually talking about the wholeness state of the mind. So you are actually using ESP to perceive, right? So when we talk about when you want to achieve the freedom of the body and mind, we also have to perceive what do you mean by freedom of the body and mind. What other state means freedom, right? There are many stages. Some people, they feel relaxed is freedom, but it is not, right? So ESP become a tool for you to compare. Each stage of relaxation, it is different. So the ultimate is that you will use this to reach a freedom state of the mind and the body, right?
Yes, and then Hannah has a question, which I guess many of us also have. How do you perceive the source of problem in a patient when doing remote healing session? Is it through your vision, vibrations in your hands?
No, with my mind.
Okay.
No. Of course, some of us, when we want to focus, then we'll do some gesture, but in fact, it does not need that with our mind directly.
Yes. And then we have another question. So this ESP, if Joe writes, you must also maintain practice or you lose the ability. So do we have to keep up our daily practice? If we don't practice, let's say for a month, do we lose this ability, Casey?
From my experience last year, I thought that by stopping all the practices, I will not be as sensitive as that, and I'll be able to seal my mind from receiving all those overloaded information. But the thing is that once you have this ability, probably by stopping the practices for a short term, or you are not able to conceal or seal the information. But the worst case is that when you stop practicing, you still remain the ESP, but also your mind become how do you call it? Versatile. Your emotion erupted. You're not able to stabilize your mind in order to handle that. So this is the risky part, right? So as long as you want to practice ESP, you have to practice the core exercise.
Yes.
To build up the internal team. Yeah.
Yes. So our dear friend Martin is saying, please have a small practice with us. So I think we will close the questions and answers. I'm sorry that we couldn't get to all the questions, but you're welcome to email Pacey or post them on Facebook.
Let me share my email address here.
Yes. And then you do remote sessions through Skype or through Zoom, and I've had many, probably a dozen or more, very effective. And yes. So excellent. If we could move on to the practice part, Teacher Pacey.
We'll do a brief group healing.
Okay.
Right?
Great.
And after the group healing, I want you to try that out probably for 1 second. Try it out to have the 3 centers merge, not standing, but breathing.
Okay.
3 centers merge, breathing.
Great.
Try it out. And try to apply your ESP, how it goes, whether you can feel your lower dantian.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So we start. Gaze to the front. Sit relaxingly. Stare out. Gaze from the middle of your brain out to the horizon. Very far away. Pull in your vision into the middle of your brain and close your eyes gently. Focus inside and relax. Now I want you to follow my instruction. We're doing sitting, and you may do a lift chair up from the front. Lift up your hands to the front, passing your shoulders up to the sky. Push it down. Remain focused inside. Hands towards your crown. Perceive inside in your brain. Relax your brain. Relax your mind. Passing your face. Relax the head, the neck. Passing the shoulders. Focus inside the thorax. Relax your thorax. The lower abdomen. Hands towards your thighs, knees, and send it down to your feet. Lift you up from the front again, up. Passing the shoulders, as if you're holding a chi ball up to the sky. Push it down into your crown. Focus it deep inside into the middle of your brain. Hands towards your crown. Passing your face. Send chi into your brain, into the middle of the brain, into the neck. Qi is flushing downward into your chest, flushing down into your stomach, lower abdomen, into the thighs, knees, legs, and feet. Relax your head. Relax the shoulders. Relax the upper limbs. Relax the thorax. Relax the lower abdomen. Relax the lower limbs as if the whole body is glowing up. Now, hands on your thighs. We'll do the 3 centers merge breathing. Breathe in from the crown, the middle of your palms, the middle of your soles. Breathe in and focus to lower dantian, the middle of your lower dantian. Hold it and breathe out from lower dantian towards the crown, towards middle of the palm, which is Lao Gong Xue, towards the middle of your soles, Yong Quan. The 3 centers merge breathing. Breathe in again from the 3 centers, from the crown, the palms, the soles. Focus into your lower dantian. Breathe out to all the centers. One last one, breathe in from the centers of your palm, the crown, the soles, into your lower dantian, and breathe out smoothly, relaxingly to all the centers. Hands on your navel, and you may open your eyes. Remember, you use your ESP and feel the sensation in your lower dantian, in the middle of your palm, and the middle of your soles. Feel the changes. And that's all for our session today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Teacher Pacey. So good of you to make time. I know it's very late in
Yeah, it's almost 10:30
here. Yes, and we got you just for 1 hour, but thank you for extending it. And if everyone likes, you can unmute. I will also unmute. You can thank the teacher yourself. Yes. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye, Helen. Bye, everyone.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Bye, Irma. See you. Take care. Hopefully, many will join your workshop. They're so fortunate to be in. Yes.
And Amir, I can send you the slides in PDF.
Yes, thank you very much. I can upload them.
Oh, great. Great.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you again.